All right, we are going to get started. If you could find a seat. Danse, good afternoon, dignitaries and special guests. I'm Kim Zapasaki, the lead teacher of Indigenous Education at South Point School and the MC for this afternoon's event. As I welcome you, I first want to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. These are the traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Nakota Sioux, Dene, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, and Métis. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. Before we begin, I want to first take a few minutes to remind everyone of the steps we are taking this afternoon to keep everyone safe. Please keep your mask on at all times unless you are able to maintain a safe physical distance from others. As well, when we have our speakers come forward for the official photograph with the plaque, we ask that you remain 2 meters apart. The staff from communications will let you know where to stand. In order to minimize contact, we will only be photographing the speakers today. Now that the housekeeping is out of the way, thank you for joining us today for this very special ceremony. It is my pleasure to welcome today's special guests. Trina Boymuk, Board Chair, Elk Island Public Schools. Elder Wilson Barehead. Elk Island Public Schools Trustees, Randy Foots. Annette Hubick. Jim Suter. And Harvey Stadnick. Superintendent Mark Lagori. Associate Superintendent Sandra Stoddard. Director of Instructional Supports, Ryan Marshall. Jeremy Albert, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Education Advisor, Elk Island Public Schools. Cheryl Devon, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Education Consultant, Elk Island Public Schools. And Harley MacArthur, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Education Family School Liaison Worker, Elk Island Public Schools. Wendy Conserata, Environment Manager from Shell Canada. And our grade 12 students, Kobe Grismer and McKay Pretty. And I wish to acknowledge all our school families, community supporters, and other important stakeholders who, because of gathering restrictions, could not be with us today. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. At this time, it is my pleasure to call on both Jeremy Albert and Elder Wilson Barehead.
How tanse kakyo kita tamska tinawao wapiskis it mista timnit siga sunegwa nagoa chico chenya maga amskwa chiwas gegenek na weekend egwa Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan and area natatos ka na nehio na peo omania egwa okskuno hamageo omania Elk Island Public Schools na nasko munmi o kisiga wa noche gwa kakyo na wako maganak. Good afternoon, welcome everyone. My name is Jeremy Albert. I shake all of your hands. Very happy you can be here. I come from a place in Saskatchewan called Sweetgrass First Nation, but I do live in Edmonton. I work in Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, an area, and I'm a Cree man, and I'm an advisor for Elk Island Public Schools. I'm very grateful for this beautiful day we've been given, and grateful to all my relations and I'm going to call up Wilson Bearhead in a moment, and I'm going to offer him protocol. And what I'm going to be asking Wilson is, if you were here this morning for when we smudged, he offered a blessing for this space. But I'm going to offer him protocol to offer a prayer for this part of our program, and I'm also going to ask him to explain the importance of this protocol and why it is being offered in this moment. So I'm going to step back, and I'll offer this to Wilson and make my request, and then Wilson will approach.
I guess he's still too much wonder I'm Boston. Kena na chin huchi maab na miss piwagin no michadin. Osna minozine. Osna tama pawanto. I just want to say thank you today to each and every one of you. You are part of something that was so important to this community, and you bring that good energy here. And the benefit goes to all the children that are in this community, because they are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And you have helped them, enable them to see that vision. I'm going to speak a bit about the tobacco. Many tribes across Turtle Island, across the United States, they have stories about the tobacco. The Sioux people have a story about tobacco. How the white buffalo woman brought many teachings to our people long ago. And how the people at that time did not listen. They did not pay attention. They did not understand or learn about the grandfather's teachings. And as a result, they were hurting. There was a lot of tears that fell. There was a lot of sickness that came. And there was a lot of people that were hungry. And one day, the white buffalo calf woman appeared from the sky to this earth. And he brought many teachings to our people. And one of them was the sacred pipe that came with the tobacco. Tobacco connects to all spirits. When you say a prayer and you're going to borrow berries from the tree, you acknowledge those berries, because the berries that you pick are very important to you. We all know that berries are important because they take care of our blood. We all know that each berry or each plant has the roots that go connected to the ground. And those roots also look after the inside of our bodies, our kidneys, our liver, our lungs. And now when we look at this site, we're looking after this site. When you look at all the medicines that are on Mother Earth's back, and when we take some and we abuse it, that is the reason why it seems that Mother Earth is getting sick, because we have taken so much without acknowledging the gift of tobacco. A week ago, I sat with an elder and reminded me of this. He said, when you take something from the ground, a long time ago, they didn't use tobacco. They just took the leaf of that plant and stuck it back into that hole and wrapped it up so it can grow again. So today, that's what you're doing. You're taking that leaf and putting it back here to see it grow. The important thing here is you have a lot of witnesses. The children are watching. People are paying attention, which is good. Because not one person alone can do the things that happen in this world. It takes more than one. It takes a community, and most importantly, it takes leadership to give us that direction. Our people always knew that leadership was important. The ones that were given that wisdom to speak, the ones that could represent what future is going to bring for us in terms of a vision. And I acknowledge the board that is here today. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your vision. I came here 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and I thank you for what you have given me, your kindness, to be able to come into the classrooms and work with the kids here. And to all the teachers and the principals, thank you very much for opening up your heart and opening up your arms and opening up your mind to accept Indigenous worldview in terms of this land that we walk upon. And I thank you for the land acknowledgement, because 10 years ago no one knew about First Nations people. Maybe 20 years ago. I know this because people would ask me, where you're from? And I'd say I'm from Paul Reservation. And people would say, what is that? What is a reservation? Is it like a reservation for animals or park? I said, no. It's a native community that was created by government to put us there. And that is why you know nothing of us. So when you do a land acknowledgement like that, it makes me proud, because now you know who we are. We are not just sitting in a reservation. We want to be part of this community, the world that we live in. So I thank the teachers for doing that. And I like to acknowledge the children. You know, you've given me a lot of laughs. I remember it was Rudolph Henning, a young girl. She was 10-year-old. I was talking about the white buffalo calf woman and stories like that. And I was into it for about 20 minutes. And this young boy walks in, and I didn't want him to miss anything, so I asked one of the kids if they wanted to repeat what I said. And this young girl jumped up. She had rosy cheeks, black hair. And she told every word that I said to this young man. She was listening. You know, the kids that teach us how to listen. And that was good. So I'd like to thank the Indigenous team, Cheryl, Jeremy. They have continued the work, and that's great. But I also like to thank them for offering me tobacco today. You know, a Mohawk once said to me, Wilson, as long as you had tobacco, it's like having an American Express card. You can go to any territory. As long as you get tobacco, you'll be welcoming with open arms. So I thank you with that. Ishnish.
Thank you, Elder Wilson. I'd like to invite Jeremy Albert back to the podium to share more about the history of the division's relationship with Elder Wilson.
Thank you, Wilson. You know, I was very fortunate. I've been with Elk Island Public Schools for just over a year now, and I feel very blessed, very fortunate. A lot of wonderful people here in this division, and I also walked into these wonderful spaces that have been created, and these have been, you know, years in the making. And so a really important person who is involved in this, who was unfortunately not able to be here today, Kyla Sorrell. Many of you will know Kyla. She's wonderful. She's amazing. She sends her regrets, but Kyla was here at the start of this work, and here we are today. So what we've done is we've asked Kyla to share some words about that relationship, about what brought us all here today in this space, in this moment, what initiated that. So she wrote up some words, and I'll read these. These are Kyla's words, and they're wonderful. So here we go. When Superintendent Mr. Mark Lagori began working in Elk Island Public Schools, he knew we, like other school divisions in Canada, had a responsibility to deepen Indigenous education and truth and reconciliation in education in schools, and that both of these things are good for all children. To help get curious about how to inspire this work in an ethical way, Mr. Ligori created a consultant position. And just like everyone else, this consultant had a lot to learn. She had the very good fortune of meeting Elder Wilson Barehead and was struck by his wisdom and his kindness. When Elk Island Public Schools found out that Elder Wilson, at that time, lived right here in Fort Saskatchewan, we started to build a relationship with him. And it is this relationship that began to transform who we are and how we do our work. Often Elder Wilson would hear that first consultant years ago talk about the great work happening in other larger school divisions close by. And one day he said to her, "You can do it their way, or you can figure out the Elk Island way and do that." Elder Wilson taught us that we must know what our story is. And so we asked ourselves, what was the Elk Island story? What was the Elk Island way when it comes to this work? Asking these questions led us to Elk Island National Park, whom we are named after. It exists right in the center, or in the heart, of our school division. Do you know where the national park's name, and thus our name, Elk Island, comes from? In the park are a few lakes with a few small islands, and people noticed that long ago, Mother Elk would swim out to one particular island to have their babies. The island was predator-free and thus safe, while the baby and mother were most vulnerable. Once they were both strong enough, they would swim back together, back to the mainland. This little island became known as Elk Island, and the national park liked the idea of being named after a safe place for animals that people could also come to and enjoy. They, like all of you gathered here today, know that being outside, experiencing and learning from the land is key to who we are as human beings. It's key to how we connect with ourselves, with each other, and with the earth. As we begin to better understand our story and our way, Shell Canada also became curious with us. And now we are all here together, officially celebrating and enjoying these special land-based learning spaces. Huge thanks to Elder Wilson Barehead, to Shell Canada, to all the school leads, and to consultants, Ms. Cheryl Devon and Mr. Jeremy Albert, who all work together to create these spaces. May they bring years of connection, calm, and curiosity to Fort Saskatchewan and Bruderheim students, families, and staff. So thank you, Kyla. And at this point, I'd like to invite Nimis, my older sister, Cheryl Devon, amazing person who's going to share some of her words as it relates to this space that we are in.
You know, part of me really appreciates all these extra protocols because it gives me time to slow down and to take that breath that sometimes in this work I forget to do. Thank you, Marcy Nishimish, my little brother. And you're way taller than me, so I have to bring this down a little bit. Ooh, sorry for that noise. One of the many teachings that Elder Wilson shared with me is to speak from the heart, not from paper. Wilson, I did write something down because I get a little nervous, but I'll try really hard to speak from the heart. First, thank you, Elder Wilson, for opening us in such a good way with your prayer, with your kind words, with your words of wisdom. Every time I had the pleasure of sitting with you, that honor of sitting with you, I learn, and I'm a better person because of it, and I get closer to that the michivota that I want to be. So I'm always grateful. Thank you. To all of you who gathered here today, board chair, all the trustees, Superintendent Ligori, Associate Superintendent Stoddard, my boss, Mr. Marshall, to all of the principals, the leads, you amazing leads, and of course our little elders, our students that have gathered here, all the dignitaries and guests, thank you. I'm very grateful to you because in these uncertain times, the times of darkness that we're living through, we have a time to come together for joy and for celebration and for witnessing. I wouldn't be here doing this, of course, without Elder Wilson, but also without Shell. So thank you, Wendy, for coming and representing Shell. Because your generosity, these beautiful spaces and the conversations and teachings we've had from Elder Wilson are a reality, and it just warms my heart. So, Kashi Marci, thank you too. I'll introduce myself in my language. I'm not very good. I'm a learner. I'm calling that language back to me, but as my teacher tells me, it is a way to sing a love song to my ancestors and to those that carry our language. And I'm not going to sing because that would be bad, but I will sing in my way in terms of using my language. And so I say to you today, Tanche Kiowao, Cheryl Dishinakashun in Metinia, Ope Mechif Ota. I'm very grateful for all of you to be here. And I just want to say, when we look at this space, one of the words that comes to my mind is the Michif word, the Métis word for welcome, and that's Miunukshkatuk, and that means, in a very and kind of an empty translation, it means welcome. But really, what I've been taught by my elders, when we say Miunukshkatuk, what we are saying is, I welcome you here with me in a place of respect. I welcome you to bring who you are and all of who you are, and I will honor what you bring. And I will sit with you, and we will have a good meeting together. We will honor each other. All of that in that one little word, and that's why I love learning my language, because there's so much depth and so many teachings in every word that is called back to us. And that's what I see in this space. It's a place that we can all come together respectfully, bring who we are, and sit together and learn. And so when I look at these spaces that we've created based on the teachings from Elder Wilson and the funding from Shell, what I see beside this building that I went to high school at, a different way of learning. We have the learning that I was blessed with to receive here from excellent teachers. But I see here learning that can happen that I received from my grandmother and my grandfather and my aunties and my uncles. I see a way of learning about the land, with the land, from people of the land. And what a beautiful gift we are giving our students, that they can walk from this place of learning to this place of learning, here equal side by side. And that makes my heart so very happy. That our knowledges, our ways of being and doing and knowing, and our ways of walking on this earth are here for students to be a part of. And our little elders out there, what a gift for them to come sit with the land and know who they are on this land. And that is absolutely amazing, and it makes my heart so happy. And to know that our teachers are learning how to bring students out to learn about the land, and to continue those teachings that Wilson has so generously shared with us. When I see these spaces, I also see a place where we can bring our students to learn what that land acknowledgement really means, that it's more than just words, that it's a way we can get curious about how to be here on the land together, to truly know, understand, and honor that treaty relationship, those treaty promises we entered into. And these spaces help make that land acknowledgement a real, living statement from Elk Island Schools. And that makes my heart happy, too. When I see these spaces, the other thing I think of are those teachings from Wilson about we bring the kids not to just know who was here first, the first caretakers of this land who are still here and still carry that deep, deep knowledge of land, and so generously wanting to share with our staff, our students, our communities, but also who else is here? Who are our non-human relatives that live here? Who can we sit in these beautiful spaces and learn about and learn from? Who else are our teachers? And these spaces invite our students for that, to learn not just about the land, but learn from the land, that land does become the teacher. And for students to sit and to learn who this beautiful tree is and what she has to offer and what her teachings are. That also makes my heart happy to know that we'll be doing that teaching with our students. And the last thing that I think of when I think of these spaces is the students being able to sit on this land, to sit on the grass, to be close to the land, like Wilson teaches us, to sit with the land, be part of it, and to learn what is our relationship with land. How well do we know the land that we live on, we play on, we work on every day? What is our relationship? That other part of that land acknowledgement that's important, that this land is following the promises of the treaty. It's here for us to be a part of too, and to help take care of. And what is our relationship with the land? So all of these layers, these deep layers, and all of these important teachings are all embodied in these beautiful spaces. And I look so forward to working with our schools, working with our students, working with our community to help bring to life these places and these spaces. And I thank you all, Kashi Marci, I thank you deeply for being witness to these spaces, for imagining with us, and for looking toward the future of how we can use these spaces, not just in our schools, but also, as you can see where they're placed very purposefully, our community too. So I say to you, Miunukshkatuk, welcome.
Thank you, Jeremy and Cheryl, and also to Kyla for sharing those words. I now invite Trina Boymuk, Board Chair for Elk Island Public Schools, to share greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Madame Boymuk.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful actually to have all of you here today, live in person and not a little square on my computer screen. And so I'm actually quite excited to be here on a school site to be part of such a special celebration. I want to, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome Elder Wilson Bearhead, and thank you very much for honoring us with the prayer. But also, we'll just wait for that. But also to thank you, I can't thank you enough for the many years that you have blessed us with your wisdom, your passion for working with students and our staff. We are here today because of that passion and your willingness to share that wisdom with us. And so I do feel very blessed as an individual that doesn't have children in school anymore, to have this opportunity to learn alongside our students because of your involvement. So thank you so much, and it's been such a treat to know that you'd be here with us today to celebrate this moment. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, too, as well, I certainly want to extend our gratitude to both Jeremy, Albert, and Cheryl Devine. Devin. Mm-hmm. And as you continue to guide us to acknowledge the truth of Canada's colony history and help us to take meaningful steps towards reconciliation. And of course, we want to thank Shell Canada, who's represented today by Wendy. I'm going to say this, Consarda. No, I'm not. I had it right like early, but the pressure really gets to me, Wendy. But we had a wonderful lunch together and got to know each other, and she is is the manager of environment. So, anyways, thank you so much. Your generous grant has made it possible for us to open these places and spaces for our students and staff, our families and residents within Elk Island Public Schools. So, thank you so much for that contribution. Former Senator Marie Sinclair, who served as the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, stated that education is the key to walking on this journey to reconciliation. My fellow trustees and our senior administration believe in our sacred duty to educate ourselves, students and staff, about the enduring harms on colonialism, residential schools, on First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. And it is our responsibility to listen and learn the ways which we must act so we can all move together in healing and reconciliation. It is my hope that with the teachings of Indigenous elders and educators, those who have gathered here and other land-based learning spaces within our school division can discover ways to connect to the earth, connect to themselves, and connect to others. Thank you again for coming and taking part of this special celebration, and all of you that have been involved in making this special space a reality. So thank you.
Thank you, Madame Boymuck. I now invite Wendy Conserata, Environment Manager, to speak on behalf of Shell Canada. Ms. Conserata.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, my name is Wendy Conserata. It's a very long Ukrainian name. So I'm the environment manager at the Shell Scotford refinery, just east of Fort Saskatchewan. So I'm very proud to be invited to be able to be here today to see this grand opening of the Indigenous land-based learning spaces for Elk Island Public Schools. So Shell's community investment efforts are focused on promoting sustainable development, building local capability, and fostering communities, which education and learning are a really big part of. So we're very grateful to be able to partner with the schools in this project. So thank you again for including us here today in the grand opening, and we do look forward to seeing the outcomes for the students and the benefits to the community. And as a follow-up, just seeing it here today and being here, actually, I'm going to bring my environment team, and I think we're going to do a little bit of a tour with all the schools as a follow-up, because they would be really impressed to see this. And so yeah, really looking forward to that. It'd be a good field trip for our team to come see this. So thank you again for inviting me, and glad to be here.
Thank you, Wendy. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Kobe Grismer and McKay Pretty, grade 12 students from Fort High.
Thank you for attending Fort Saskatchewan High's grand opening for our outdoor classroom.
We would especially... Well, I got another copy right here. It's all good. We would especially like to welcome our homie since day one and thank him for blessing us with not only his words, his presence, but his dashing looks with his very nice hat. Elder Wilson Bearhead.
We are here today to celebrate Fort High's new outdoor classroom. As many of you know, and as Mr. Wilson just said, many of our memories come from our days of youth. For us, these memories are made during our time in high school. The outdoor learning area here at Fort High allows students to have a better connection with the land that we have grown to love and appreciate, as well as a much-needed escape from the indoors.
However, it is more than just a learning area. It is a place to make memories we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Whether it's making jokes with our friends or making progress on your homework due next block. This new learning area is another great addition to our school. It is quite evident that First Nations, Métis, and Inuit cultures share a strong connection with the land.
Both McKay and myself are two of Elk Island's many Indigenous students. Coincidentally, Both of our heritage leads back to nations in Saskatchewan. Being part of Canada's Indigenous community is more than being just a member. It's the connection to our history, land, and spirituality. We are thankful for the outdoor learning area, known only for its access, a benefit to our school, but its representation of our heritage and culture is greatly appreciated. We would also like to thank Shell Canada, Elder Wilson, Mr. Albert, and Miss Devon.
Thank you, Kobe and McKay. Well done. On behalf of Elk Island Public Schools administration and staff, I want to thank everyone who played a part in bringing this and our other land-based learning spaces to life. These spaces have begun to create connections between our students and the land that our schools sit upon. They have begun to and will continue to build upon understanding Indigenous foundational knowledge for all who have a pleasure to walk and learn upon them. We now ask that our speakers come forward for the official photograph with the site plaque. That concludes our program for today. Thank you everyone for coming out and celebrating with us. And I thank Jeremy, Cheryl, and Ryan for the opportunity to be part of such a momentous occasion. Hi, hi, ish nish. Thank you.